Hey there, YouTube fans. How you going? Hey, I promise I won't cry on you today, okay? You have to watch my last video. Hey, I'm wearing an old uniform as a student because all my shirts are too big now. Isn't that wonderful? Now, look, I almost got into an argument with a nurse today, and hey, it's fine. They're entitled to their opinion. We're both type A's. But it showed me, it highlighted for me a very important point. A lot of people say, don't weigh yourself every day. I absolutely disagree. And I'll tell you why. The most important thing is, don't have a emotional response to what you see, because we just want raw data, right? We want your body fat percentage ideally, we want your weight, your muscle mass, your hydration, these things can vary, of course, all the time. So if one day you're up a pound or two or whatever, however it works in your country, kilos in our country, don't panic, but you have to have the data. It's like scientific approach. Now, where people get in trouble, I reckon, is having an emotional response to that, whatever's on the scale, and, oh no, I'm a failure, I just may as well go and pig out. And all of us have done that, right? There's no simple answer to this weight loss business at all. And that's probably a good thing. As we know, it's a survival mechanism. My poor Sicilian ancestors very often didn't have something to eat. And so they'd have to live on the bare minimum and work very, very hard, not like we have today. And you go around the shopping centers, you have a look on TV, there's no non-stop terrible advertising with terrible food. I'm going to follow the Mediterranean diet, and I need to do more and more research on it because, of course, you forget what you ate growing up. And we came to Australia. My parents came on the boat to Australia, and so we had a mixture of Australian foods, not so much, but mainly it was Italian or Sicilian food. And I want to go back to my roots, as Rocky said in that film, Rocky. So hopefully I'll share some of those ideas with you. This morning, it's just amazing, 144.9 kilograms. So since starting that VLCD diet, and then, hey, I'm going to be upfront, I had gastric sleeve surgery, and I'm still recovering. So it's not as if I just magically started losing weight. The weight loss started to come off from the VLCD diet, very low calorie diet. Now, you have to do that before you have surgery, and I also knew that because I'll have surgery, then I can just keep the snowball rolling, because we know that diets fail. And it's nobody's fault that they fail. Your body is set to survive. That's what it tries to do. And as you notice, there's always that set point. And this is one of the reasons why, for me personally, with all the years of struggle and diabetes and all the other problems that I had, sleep apnea, etc., which I still got, for me, it seems to be, touch wood, the right decision to have had the sleeve. So that's where I'm going. Hey, I can't change it now. About 80% of my stomach is gone forever. You can't put it back in. That's it. So if you didn't, you have to, let's say you don't want surgery, and that I didn't want it for years either. It was a hard sell for me. What do? You got to keep the insulin levels down. You got to keep your sugar down, and that goes for diabetics and non-diabetics. If you can keep the insulin levels down, then you finally start tapping into your fat. So if you're spiking insulin all day, you're never going to use up that reserve of body fat in you. Now, some people may be thin on the outside, but actually a lot of internal body fat. So I had both. And I said to my surgeon, man, I busted my back. I didn't use that word, but I busted, myself to get down 9 kilograms, which is 20 pounds, so that you can do the surgery very well. And he said, mate, when I went in there, your liver was so fatty and horrible. It still was looking terrible. And he said, but it was soft that I could move it around and not firm so that it could get out of the way and then I could cut your stomach. So that reminds me, what causes diabetes? Of course, it's insulin resistance, but these 3 things you got to remember are basically the foundation, the cornerstone, the keystone, or whatever of diabetes. Number 1, fatty liver. Fatty liver apparently is a big marker for diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Number 2, you will have fat in your pancreas, and it's quite marbled, and that needs to lose fat as well. The good news is those 2 things, they lose their fat fairly quickly if you go on a diet, basically. You restrict calories, they will come down. And what's the third thing that causes insulin resistance? Is fat inside your muscles. So you know how you get a nice piece of steak? We love steak in this country. We have plenty of room for growing cattle in Australia, and it's marbled with fat. Well, that's your muscles. If your muscles are like that, they're also insulin resistant. Those 3 pillars are the causes, the foundation of diabetes. And of course, how do you get all those things? Well, most of the time it's a very poor diet. You got to watch those high GI foods, those foods that become blood sugar straight away. Number 1 is sugar. That's why they tell a diabetic, if you're having a low blood sugar, go and have a jelly bean, because it just, with that glucose, it just spikes your sugar up like there's no tomorrow. So, yeah, that's an introduction to that topic. Anyway, the main thing I wanted to talk about is my opinion, and I've always done this. You want scientific data to know what your weight is, and you keep a track. But don't panic if it changes from day to day, and make sure that the changes are, they could be just muscle, and so muscle weighs more than fat. I'm pretty sure that's the case from my old bodybuilding days. So you could be putting on muscle. I went and got a $29 in this country. I can't believe it's so cheap. $29 body fat scale, and it gives you a fairly good ballpark, right, to work from. It's, you just need a guide. It doesn't have to be perfect. If I want a perfect body fat percentage monitoring, I will go to get a bod pod analysis done, which you've seen in some documentaries. And that last one was very inaccurate, unfortunately. So for my money, I got this $29 scale. It had a little app, and I love it. Love it. It's probably even more accurate than my $300 scales. Well, I don't know. That's to be debated. But the weights between the 2 is pretty much the same, within 10 grams. And but the body fat percentages are quite diverse. But you just want a record. You want some data. And then it's like going to the gym, right? You have to do little changes, little increments of putting the weight up to get your muscles stronger and grow. So those little changes in your weight, you need that data. You need those little changes to continue like that. I'm trying to say, it's the little things. It's the day by day, the hard slog, day in, day out, that will help you to lose weight and grow muscle and do the exercise. The most important thing is the diet, but if you want to build muscle, you need to go in the gym. You need to lift weights, if that's what you want. Of course, with anything, I'm not your doctor. Always check with your doctor, your healthcare professional. before you do anything that I'm talking about here. This is just for information and stuff that's worked for me. All right. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Teacher Sal out. About 30 pounds lighter. And what's that in kilos? Just finishing up. Somebody can tell me, because, hey, I deal in kilos in Australia. 15 kilos down, which would be over 30 odd pounds. I'd say probably, 35 pounds, 33 to 35. Write in the comments to tell me how to convert, not how to convert, but what it is, so that I don't have to be doing it myself. Got to get you to do something, man. Hey. Peace out, guys. Ciao. God bless. Teacher Sal out.